Blueprints for Prosperity, the achievements of the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning under His Excellency, Distinguished Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, Commander of the Order of the Niger, CON. In the second year of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, the journey towards a stronger, more inclusive economy continues, driven by the Renewed Hope agenda. At the forefront of this mission stands the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, under the dynamic leadership of Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, developing blueprints for prosperity and ensuring that every Nigerian is part of the growth story. On August 21st, 2023, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR inaugurated a results-driven cabinet with a clear mandate to renew the nation's hope.
With the inauguration of ministers today, we are about to accelerate our governing efforts to move forward, realizing our best aspiration for Nigeria. Your assignment began immediately. As your country honors you today, by this call to service, you must each work to make yourselves worthy in the eyes of God and all our nation's people. Your highest obligation is to restore public faith in government so that our people can once again believe.
Among the strategic ministries charting this course is the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, a ministry that plays a central role coordinating national development priorities in line with the Renewed Hope agenda.
We have a president who himself is very knowledgeable on the trade-offs involved between fiscal and monetary policy. And the Renewed Hope agenda, in a way, is a balancing act.
Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu brings a wealth of global and local experience, an economist, a reformer, and champion of inclusive growth. Under his stewardship, the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning has become an engine of transformation, delivering measurable results in this crucial year of the Tinubu administration.
In the last 2 years, we should give kudos to Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, CON, in terms of his capacity to coordinate, working with development partners, working with federal MDAs, subnational government, and all relevant stakeholders.
We say we have generated 3 quarters of growth, 3.2, 3.4. To many people, it seems small. But industrialized nations, all European countries who have financing is not an issue, technology is not an issue, but they have been unable to achieve 1% growth.
ministry's vision aligns seamlessly with the Renewed Hope agenda to build a resilient economy through inclusive, evidence-based planning.
It is mandate that gives you the direction of where you are going to. The first mandate is to ensure that the ministry advise and determine the policies, priorities, and plans of government, especially as it relates to matters of national development, including overall economic management of the country. The ministry also provides budget functions, including the preparation and coordination of implementation of budget and fiscal policies of the federal government of Nigeria.
With a streamlined structure and empowered directorates, the ministry ensures policy coherence, project monitoring, and long-term development impact across Nigeria.
Let us make the economic choices that will turn our economy in the right direction, such that we can begin to compensate for underinvestment in many sectors of our national life, including climate action and energy. And the challenge is underinvestment and how to provide proof of concept for market sustainable solutions. Governments simply do not have the resources, our government, and I'm sure I've studied enough, do not simply have the resources to fund all this. So we need private sector, and to need private sector, we need long-term funding.
Under Senator Bagudu's leadership, the ministry has mobilized over 598 billion in technical and financial support from global development partners, boosting projects in nutrition, climate resilience, women empowerment, and rural development.
Indeed, His Excellency President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu led a delegation to China in September. Before then, this ministry was involved in the preparation for the visit and the negotiations of 5 agreements. During the visit, I was privileged on behalf of the ministry and Nigeria to sign the 3 agreements with the National Development and Reform Commission with my Chinese counterpart, and also the 2 agreements with the China International Development Agency. The 2 sides agreed to establish a coordination mechanism between the Federal Ministry of Budget and National Planning and the National Development and Reform Commission to guide and coordinate the promotion. Under the cooperation plan, the parties have identified energy, mining and metallurgical refinery, infrastructure, manufacturing, and agriculture as key areas of cooperation.
These partnerships are transforming blueprints into tangible change in line with the priorities of the Renewed Hope agenda.
Bioeconomy is a very new area that there's a lot of opportunity for us to tap in, and we are now in the process of developing a bioeconomic strategic framework, which have gone through a series of engagement, right from the MDS consultations up to the academia, and we have even done a consultation level where all the critical stakeholders have been involved. And I think we've been able to produce what we call a draft bioeconomic strategic framework.
Guided by Bagudu's strategic focus, the ministry is investing in sectors that unlock inclusive prosperity, from cassava bioethanol to youth digital hubs and women-led cooperatives. These innovations are expanding opportunity and narrowing inequality, reinforcing President Tinubu's renewed hope vision. Senator Bagudu is driving a renewed commitment to macroeconomic stability, aligning fiscal policies with national development goals.
In this period, the fiscal policy measures and the monetary policy measures are targeted at stabilizing the economy. And it is when the economy is stabilized that you can conveniently plan even for a longer term. We have discussed also with these international agencies that we have programs to deal with that it's important that we begin to mainstream their programs, that the programs of whether it's SDG, whether it's African Union or ECOWAS, cascaded down to the states and local government level.
With prudent reforms and effective public finance management, Nigeria is steadily rebuilding investor confidence and charting a path towards a multi-investment-driven economy.
Under Mr. President's able leadership, the bold and courageous macroeconomic reforms that were very necessary that have now been put in place are creating a platform for private sector investment that will increase the productivity of the Nigerian economy, that will grow the Nigerian economy, create jobs, and of course, reduce the poverty level in Nigeria.
The removal of fuel subsidy and its effect on revenue and expenditure, removal of the deregulation of the foreign exchange market and its also effect on both the revenue of government and expenditure of government, as well as other price distorting issues, electricity, which we have not fully been dealt with, as well as telecommunications. All the measures, bold and courageous, that have been taken with the support of the National Assembly are intended to, among others, generate more revenues for the three tiers of government, as well as correct distortions in the economy and provide more efficiency in expenditure.
The ministry is a coordinating ministry. All the ministries in the country are coordinated by the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning. So we have that convening power. So the minister coordinates all the agencies, and that's why we are producing the plan. So the plan, in doing the plan, we make sure that it's a national plan. It is not a federal plan. National plan involves both the federal government and subnationals, even the private sector, because the production of that plan is both inclusive, participatory, and consultative. When you do the plan, you invite all the agencies of the federal government, governors of the states, and local governments represented by ALGON. Then you have about 3 segments. One is the National Steering Committee, co-chaired by the minister, and then somebody from the private sector. Then you have the Central Working Group, comprising of people from diverse backgrounds, including the traditional rulers and others. Then you have the technical working groups, where you bring even the people from local government, from people from the state technical officers who will roll their sleeves and do the work. So it is the minister convenes all these groups, and then we discuss the national issues. It has been so helpful for the country.
A core achievement under the ministry is its real-time monitoring system, ensuring every Naira delivers results. With digital tools and community feedback loops, policies are being fine-tuned to meet the real needs of citizens in alignment with the Renewed Hope agenda.
Before you do the planning of data, you have to do a research to look at what you want to do, what is the likely outcome of what you want to do. And from that research, you now identify key things you need to achieve. So data is critical, research is critical, and capacity building, because people have to implement whatever thing you are doing, are very critical. And that's why we have this kind of ministry, which was taken after the Indian Ministry of Planning. So this is what is the data is critical. NBS gives us data we need in our planning efforts. We do our planning based on the data from NBS, because NBS is the agency of government responsible for, statistical, all the statistical systems in this country. So we get our data from NBS, and government, tries to ensure that the data we use for our planning efforts are Nigerian data.
With 78 strategic interventions under the Food Systems Transformation Pathways, the ministry, under Distinguished Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, is reshaping Nigeria's agricultural economy.
For us in the Ministry of National Planning, this is a topic that is very, very important because it goes to the heart of intermediation. How much money do we need to find and put in the agricultural space? What is needed? Agriculture is our low-hanging fruit, not just for Nigeria, but for Africa. It's the sector with the strongest absorptive capacity, meaning in a little as a cropping session, we can make a difference.
By linking agriculture to education, health, and nutrition, the Renewed Hope agenda is delivering food security and creating rural prosperity.
Agriculture, food security, poverty reduction, job creation and economic growth, inclusivity, providing access to capital to our teeming populace.
Under Bagudu's supervision, budget deficit reduced from 6.1% of GDP in 2023 to under 4% in 2024. Nigeria achieved consistent GDP growth above 3% for 3 consecutive quarters, indicating a recovering economy. The minister oversaw the 54.99 trillion naira 2025 budget, prioritizing infrastructure, human capital development, agriculture and social welfare. Under the minister's supervision, the 6.2 trillion naira 2024 Amendment Act was implemented to support infrastructure, adjust the national minimum wage and boost food production. He launched the iMark digital platform to monitor and ensure transparency in over 500 federal projects. Additionally, he facilitated the concession of the cassava bioethanol value chain across 6 geopolitical zones, creating over 8,000 jobs. Nigeria, under the minister's coordination, implemented the National Poverty Reduction with Growth Strategy, NPRGS, creating over 67,000 jobs in its first phase. Through the NG Cares programme, the country supported post-pandemic recovery efforts, reaching over 7 million households. Nigeria also commenced the rebasing of its GDP to incorporate emerging sectors and strengthen economic analysis. Under Bagudu's supervision, Nigeria reviewed the National Development Plan 2021-2025 to align with the Renewed Hope agenda, achieving 95% completion. The country strengthened partnerships with global institutions such as the World Bank to advance national development priorities. Nigeria also endorsed the Samoa Agreement, reinforcing its commitment to sustainable development and global cooperation.
The HOPE projects are delivering life-changing interventions, clean water, modern classrooms, and rural clinics that serve the underserved. For Senator Bagudu and his team, it's not just about infrastructure, it's about dignity, equity, and hope, hallmarks of the Renewed Hope agenda.
Is what we have started. Let us confront our reality. What are those choices that we need to make, pleasant and unpleasant, so that we can build the Nigeria of our dream, the Nigeria that will support African dreams. Policies we are putting in place, from training of our youth, from investing in our women, from investing in agriculture, we believe we are on the way of creating a skill-based set that will help us to support our younger ones to achieve their dreams.
I believe there's a lot more that needs to be done, an enormous amount that needs to be done. One cannot help but be very, very vigilant, because things are changing all the time. Our goal continues to be that of stabilizing our economy and stabilizing the macroeconomic fundamentals, in ensuring that we are able to appropriately manage inflation in a direction that certainly serves the well-being of everybody. I take the example of the last Monetary Policy Committee meeting, where the decision was made at the time to hike interest rates, okay, much as it may have appeared a little bit on the hawkish side. But if you see what has played out since then, okay, then it begins to give you an idea of the things that we see, and we ensure that we are ahead of the curve.
Modern infrastructure is essential to modern governance. With strategic planning led by the ministry, road, rail, and digital networks are being prioritized to enhance mobility, commerce, and service delivery, laying the foundation for sustainable development.
The IMAC is one of the most modern way of checking where you are coming from and where you are going to. Real-time assessment of, your projects, plans, and priorities. You can be here in the ministry, you can see what is going on in Bayelsa State. You can see what is going on in Kano, Maiduguri, Borno State, Lagos, Sokoto. So we have a dashboard where you can log in and be seeing officers on the feed.
From policy to progress, from planning to prosperity, the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning remains focused on a brighter tomorrow for all Nigerians. The Tinubu administration, guided by the Renewed Hope agenda, one truth is clear. Under distinguished Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, the vision is bold, the path is clear, and the commitment is unwavering.
They have only spent 2 years with bold economic reforms. You know, when you are approaching economic development, you have to be bold and you have to be courageous. We have, you know, a minister and a president who have these qualities. The president is very courageous in terms of taking bold policy. And that is one of the advantages Nigeria has at the moment. Because if you don't have bold initiative to implement bold policy, you cannot achieve economic development.
The strategy that has been embarked upon has helped our subnationals. Today, the states and local governments have more improved park allocations, and with the elimination of both foreign exchange and fuel subsidies, they will be continuing to receive higher allocations. The Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning and its agencies is leading many engagements together with the Economic Management Team, together with the long-term funding committee, to ensure that we generate more resources that will finance development in all the constituencies that we represent.
This is Blueprints for Prosperity, a renewed hope in action, brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning.